Welcome back to the war. Ukraine 2022. In the early months of the year, the world witnesses one of the most significant and strategic military confrontations of the 21st century, the Battle of Kherson. Situated in the southern region of Ukraine, Kherson becomes a focal point in the escalating conflict between Ukrainian forces and Russian invaders. This is the story of that battle, the events leading up to it, the key moments, and its aftermath. Join us at Legacy of War as we take a deeper look. Before we start the video, don't forget to check out our selection of playlists. We cover other wars like Vietnam, the World Wars, as well as Viking and Roman times. We will also be adding to our collection soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Now relax and enjoy the video. That's in order. Context and background. Why was Kherson, a port city on the Black Sea, so important in the early stages of the Russo-Ukrainian War? Kherson, a crucial port city on the Black Sea and the Dnieper River, holds immense strategic value. Its capture could control maritime access and river routes, impacting the logistical and economic stability of the region. It is described as the gateway to Crimea. In late February 2022, Russia launched an invasion of Ukraine, aiming to seize control of key cities and territories. Kherson, due to its strategic position, becomes a prime target. The invasion begins. On February 24, 2022, Russian forces cross into Ukraine from multiple fronts. In the south, the Russian 49th Combined Arms Army advances towards Kherson, estimated to be 35,000 men. Fighting was soon reported in Chonhar, on the border with Crimea, and residents of the town of Chaplinka in southern Kherson Oblast observed columns of tanks, armored personnel carriers, and multiple rocket launchers moving in the direction of Novokakhovka. Local commanders were informed in the early hours of the morning that an invasion was taking place and preparations began. Kherson International Airport was bombarded shortly afterwards. By the 28th of February, the Institute for the Study of War assessed that Russian troops had likely completely encircled Kherson, and a renewed assault was conducted on March 1st. By March 2nd, Russian troops entered Kherson. In the morning, Russian forces had captured the railway station and port. That evening, the mayor of Kherson announced that he had surrendered the city and that the Russian commander intended to set up a military administration, and acknowledged the Ukrainian military was no longer present in Kherson, and another official stated that the Russian military was in all parts of the city. Local soldiers and civilians knew the importance of Kherson and fought hard to defend it, but the sheer number of Russian troops and their heavy artillery made it a tough battle. Over 300 soldiers and civilians were reported dead, and there was severe destruction to the city's infrastructure. The occupation of Kherson. Under Russian control, the people of Kherson face an oppressive occupation. Will they ever see liberation? Despite valiant efforts, Ukrainian forces withdraw, and Kherson fell under Russian control. It marked the first major city to be captured by Russia in the invasion. Under occupation, the residents of Kherson faced severe restrictions, with reports of human rights abuses, suppression of protests, and attempts to integrate the region into Russian administrative control. Ukraine officials accused Russia of blocking the evacuation of civilians to Ukraine-controlled territory. A counteroffensive was attempted in late March, but Kherson remained in Russian hands. It was later reported that Russian agents had infiltrated Ukrainian security forces. On the 1st of April 2022, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky dismissed the head of the security service of Ukraine's Kherson regional branch and a general as traitors. Ukrainian counteroffensive planning. How Ukraine's military, with international support, prepares to retake Kherson. By mid-2022, the Ukrainian military, bolstered by Western support and weaponry, begins planning a counteroffensive to reclaim Kherson. High-mobility artillery rocket systems provided by the United States play a critical role. The high-mobility artillery rocket systems allowed Ukrainian soldiers to target Russian supply lines and command centers with precision, disrupting their operations and weakening their hold on Kherson. The counteroffensive begins. On August 29, 2022, the Ukrainian armed forces launch a large-scale counteroffensive in the Kherson region, utilizing a combination of artillery, infantry, and armored units. Their aim, to encircle the city and cut off Russian supply routes. The counteroffensive is marked by intense and brutal fighting. Ukrainian forces employ a strategy of attrition, gradually wearing down Russian defenses and reclaiming territory. On the 9th of October, Ukraine said it recaptured 1,170 square kilometers of land. On the 9th of November, Russian troops were ordered to withdraw from Kherson, the only regional capital captured since the start of the invasion. Ukrainian forces liberated the city of Kherson 2 days later, on the 11th of November. Key battles and turning points. Throughout September and October, several key battles take place around Kherson. The battle for the village of Davidi Brid and the crossing at the Inhulets River are particularly notable for their intensity and strategic importance. These battles were fierce. Both sides suffered heavy casualties, but the Ukrainians were relentless in their push. The use of advanced Western weaponry and the high morale of Ukrainian troops played a significant role. August. Ukrainian troops edged closer to breaking Russian defenses in Zaporizhia's fierce summer clashes. In August, Ukrainian forces focused on gradual advances in the southern front, particularly near Zaporizhia, and made incremental progress in liberating occupied territories despite heavy Russian fortifications and minefields. September. Key victories at Robotyne and Verbov paved the way for Ukraine's southern surge. September saw Ukraine achieving strategic breakthroughs around the towns of Robotyne and Verbov, weakening Russian defensive lines and creating opportunities for deeper incursions into occupied regions. October. Strategic strikes and territorial gains in October keep Ukraine's southern offensive momentum alive. In October, Ukrainian forces focused on reinforcing their positions and conducting targeted operations to weaken Russian defenses further. They achieved notable successes in disrupting supply routes and capturing key positions in the southern front. November. Ukrainian advance toward Melitopol threatens to unravel Russian logistics before winter sets in. By November, Ukrainian forces continued to press their advantage, consolidating gains in the south and pushing towards strategic locations like Melitopol, aiming to disrupt Russian supply lines and fortify their positions before winter. The liberation of Kherson. By early November, the Ukrainian forces achieve a significant breakthrough. Russian troops facing encirclement and unsustainable supply lines begin to withdraw from Kherson. On November 11, 2022, Ukrainian forces officially enter Kherson, greeted by jubilant residents. The city is liberated after more than 8 months of occupation. Local residents celebrated this incredible moment. They had lived under constant fear and oppression. Seeing Ukrainian soldiers liberate the city, as one witness said, brought tears to our eyes. Aftermath and significance. The liberation of Kherson marks a pivotal moment in the Russia-Ukrainian war. It demonstrates the resilience and determination of the Ukrainian people and their military, as well as the crucial role of international support. The battle's outcome significantly boosts Ukrainian morale and represents a major strategic and symbolic victory. It underscores the potential for Ukraine to reclaim occupied territories and the continuing struggle for sovereignty and territorial integrity. On the 13th of November, the administration of the Kherson Oblast called on Kherson residents and residents of other recently liberated areas on the right bank of the Dnieper to evacuate to safer parts of the country due to fears that Russian forces could begin fighting against the civilian population. On the 24th of September 2022, it was reported that Ukrainian commanders and servicemen acknowledged suffering heavy losses during the Kherson offensive, mostly caused by lack of ammunition, strong Russian defenses, and the role of Russian artillery. Conclusion. The Battle of Kherson will be remembered as a testament to the courage and resilience of a nation fighting for its freedom. As Ukraine continues to navigate the complexities of war and diplomacy, the spirit of Kherson stands as a beacon of hope and defiance. As of July 2024, the city of Kherson is under the control of Ukrainian forces. However, the area remains a conflict zone with ongoing Russian attacks. Ukrainian authorities report that Russian forces continue to shell the city, causing injuries and damage to infrastructure. This was the Battle of Kherson, a defining chapter in the ongoing saga of Ukraine's fight for independence. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Check back in again soon. Salute.